What the hell? Why didn't it?
Hey, future fellow weirdo, you're the black sheep of the flock. Come and take a load off. Let's have a little talk. This side of the universe, the wildest place you've been. Welcome to the service at the party pen. Have a good time, laugh and giggle.
Come on in and smile just a little.
We're reading God's unofficial bio today.
The Bible lady's gonna
Lead the way. I got the coffee and the smokes, I got the herb and the chair. Got a seat with your name on it, waiting right there. Searching for the mystery, a better mind to find. Leave that stuffy, judgy world way back behind. We're the outcasts and the rebels, we're the ones that don't fit in. But there's a holy kind of magic in the middle of the sin.
Yeah, the mystery is deep and the coffee's brewing strong in the most offensive church where we all belong. Have a good time,
Laugh and giggle.
come on in and smile just a little.
We're reading God's unofficial bio today.
The Bible lady's gonna
Lead the way. The mystery of God, what a beautiful find.
a better understanding for a
Black sheep's mind.
Hey, everyone, welcome to the most offensive church this side of the universe, the Porty Pig. Prepare your mind, get your soul right. Oh, wait. I totally forgot something. Oh, I didn't write. This is the only script I have, but I didn't write the most important thing in the script. And I am an asshole. And hold on, I'm going to do it again. Welcome to the most offensive church this side of the universe, the Porty Pig. Prepare your mind. Get your soul right. Put on the armor of God. Grab a joint, a smoke, a cup of coffee, and let's embark on this quest through the Old Testament to find all the things. Like literally, whatever. Even movie quotes. I don't know, movie quotes. I usually find the songs, but we're going to find all the things, the lies, the truths, the secrets, shit that nobody ever talks about that's actually highly important. We're going to find all those things. So, let's embark on this quest. Mid-book.
Yep.
Okay. Well, I forgot you. So, everyone, this is our new co-host, Midbar Cole, the speaker in the wilderness. So, welcome, new co-host. How I enjoy that you're here.
Yeah, I'm glad to be here
Yeah, there we go.
with the Bible Buds.
Yeah, you will now be an OG Bible bud. You'll be the OG Kush tie stick bullshit. Yeah. So, are you prepared?
Yeah, I just got one of my Bibles open.
Okay, so
We're,
we are on.
we're still on 28.
Okay, good. I'm glad because my bookmark just totally fell out. You said 28?
Yeah, I think you said you wanted to redo 28 from last night because
Oh, yeah.
you were like, you didn't want to read it, so you kept skipping it.
Yeah. Well, you forgot to kick me in the ass for doing that. Okay. I just want to embarrass Aaron again because they literally put him in tie dye and then covered it with a blue robe. So he's mostly tie dye. Poor Aaron.
Yeah, I was looking at the pictures last night of all the way people interpreted what that outfit looked like. And yeah,
I interpret it.
it looked
It's,
really heavy and sweaty, and
oh, yeah, no, it's definitely really heavy and sweaty. And it's the color of my hat. Or, or, it was like this hat. Yeah. Hey, Misty. It's nice to see you. If you're even watching. But did you see? I got a co host, and now you don't have to tell me nicely to go fuck myself because you're not doing any of that God shit. Hey, girl. Hey. How are you, Misty? Misty's watching us on Facebook. She has been my best friend since I was like 12, and she's still my friend to this very day. Only not the same way. Yeah, everybody gets sick when they gotta go online. Yeah, I am a dick, but I'm a good dick. And I don't think anybody can even see who I'm talking to. So I'm just gonna put you right here. Can you see that med bar?
yeah, I see it.
Okay. And nobody's over on my pilled side. Nobody's on my YouTube, but Misty's on my Facebook. But we are going to read this insane ass shit that God's about to make these people do because he's scrolling on Pinterest on the internet in the DIY section. And he's found all these things that he wants Moses to have the people make to keep their hands busy, because the devil's idle hands is the devil's plaything. You end up masturbating. So, got to keep your hands busy. Which sometimes, I'm telling you what, I be bored as hell. And never mind. Look, I'm reading. Now, take Aaron, your brother, and his sons with him from among these terrible ass people, that he may minister to me as a priest. Aaron's sons, Nadab, Abihu, Eleazar, and Ithamar. And you shall make holy garments for Aaron, for glory and for beauty. So, speak to everybody that does stuff, and I will fill them with the spirit of wisdom, that they can make Aaron's garments, to consecrate him, that he may minister to me as a priest. And all these garments which they shall make, they will make a breastplate, a hat, a robe, skillfully woven tunic. So this is the t-shirt and short shorts, the magic underwear, the over underwear, robe, a tunic. Actually, that's a whole outfit. That's what they wear. It's like t-shirt and shorts and the same thing. A turban, so a hat and a turban, and a sash like prom queen. So they shall make holy garments for Aaron your brother and his sons, that he may minister to me as a priest. Okay. When he says all the colorful shit, it's like that's tie-dye, right? Like right here, it says, they shall take the gold and the tie-dye and the fine linen, and they shall make an ephod of gold and tie-dye. And it will be artistically worked. It will have 2 shoulder straps joined at its 2 edges, so it shall be joined together. And the intricately woven band of the ephod, which is on it, shall be of the same workmanship, made of tie-dye and fine woven linen. Okay. And then you will bedazzle the shit out of it. You'll bedazzle the shit out of it. You're going to engrave the stones, 2 stones, with the names of these terrible ass people. You will set them in settings of gold, and put the 2 stones on the shoulders of the ephod as a memorial stones for these terrible ass people. So Aaron shall bear their names before the Lord on his 2 shoulders as a memorial. You shall also make settings of gold and 2 chains of pure gold, like braided cords, and fasten the braided chains to the settings. Oh my God. Oh, tie-dye and bedazzling. This is the 80s. This is the 80s. God's God's predicting the 80s right now. And you shall make the breastplate of judgment artistically woven according to the workmanship of the ephod. You shall make it of
I like
tie-dye.
I like how it says artistically woven. You know what? That was probably women that did the weaving and the sewing and the.
Yeah, and then God gave them wisdom. Man, imagine that. But it's the men that do like the metal work and the
Yeah,
gold work.
like Aaron was good with the gold. He's the one that made the golden calf, so he knew how to play with gold. And then they had to get those rocks. And, yeah,
Yeah,
it was a team
it,
effort.
it kept them busy for a long time, I bet. But then again, these people knew how to do this, so it probably went really fast.
Well, yeah, they made all the stuff for the Egyptians. You think the Egyptians did any work, or they had slaves to do all the work for them?
Yeah, Suaves. Okay, and the breastplate. Okay. And you're going to make it of tie-dye. It shall be doubled into a square. A span will be its length, and a span its width. And you shall bedazzle it some more. Man, this is so. 4 rows of stones. Oh my God. You're just going to bedazzle the shit out of it with pretty stuff. They shall be set in gold settings, and the stone shall have the names of the different tribes according to their names. Like, they're just gonna bedazzle it and then engrave it with 12 names. Okay? That's what they're gonna do. And then you'll make 2 chains for the breastplate at the end, like braided cords of pure gold. And you'll make 2 rings of gold for the breastplate, and put the 2 rings on the 2 ends of the breastplates. So it's going to be attached to their pants as well. So it's attached to their hat and their pants. Oh my God. This is support Aaron. Man, I don't know what he did at this point to make God decide to do this to him. I don't know. And take the 2 strings, 2 rings. Then you will put the 2 braided chains of gold and the 2 rings, which are on the ends of the breastplate. And the other 2 ends of the braided chains you will fasten to the 2 settings and put them on the shoulder straps of the ephod in the front. Man. And not only does this sound heavy, but it sounds like Aaron ain't gonna be fat for too long because this thing is so sweaty.
Yeah.
I would never want to wear this.
Yeah, it's kind of like overalls, bejeweled overalls.
Oh yeah, because those weigh you down too. You wouldn't think they do, but they do. You know what? I want to start wearing overalls. Yeah. Now, actually, I'm trying to change all my wardrobe to skirts because I have a hard time putting my clothes on. So I just figure if I wear dresses or skirts, it'll be easy, right? It will be easy. Okay. And you shall make 2 rings of gold and put them on the 2 ends of the breastplate on the edge of it, which is on the inner side of the ephod. And 2 other rings of gold you shall make and put them on the 2 shoulder straps underneath the ephod towards its front, right at the string, right at the seam above the intricately. I don't. How much more of this? There's so much more of this. Do you see how long this is? Yeah. This is becoming hard. And it was all supposed to be in God voice, which would have probably made it better. But it's too late now. This is terrible. Okay. I hear you telling me to hurry up and read
No,
it.
it's like you're saying. It's a whole blueprint of this clothing they got to wear.
Yeah. And it just takes so much to read it. These blueprints and schematics. I'm not a schematic person. I don't even know what any of it means. And I don't even know if we even care what it means.
Yeah.
But I'll read it.
It gets worse in the next chapter because then it brings in the animals and all they got to do with those and
Do we gotta read this? Yes. But I think tomorrow I'm actually gonna read it ahead so I can just put it in small words. I don't know.
yeah.
But hey, that's what I have you for here when I don't
Yeah,
know.
because in chapter 29, it's still talking about the ephod and the breastplate and what you have to do with the bulls and the rams and
Yeah, I know. I can't. I don't. Man. Okay. Anyway, we got something to look forward to in a minute. Okay, so the breastplate and where am I at? They shall bind the breastplate by means of its rings under the ephod using a blue cord, so it is above the intricately woven band of the ephod, and so that the breastplate does not loosen from the ephod. So Aaron shall bear the names of these terrible ass people on his breastplate of judgment over his heart when he goes into the holy place. So God can remember these people's names all the time. And you shall put in the breastplate of judgment the Urim and Thummim. Don't know what that is. And they shall cover Aaron's heart when he goes before the Lord. So Aaron shall bear the judgment of these terrible ass people over his heart before the Lord continually. Why? Oh, here we go with the robe to go over his tie-dye and gold outfit. Now you shall make a robe, the robe of the ephod, all blue, and there shall be an opening for his head. In the middle of it, it shall have a woven binding all around its opening, like the opening of a coat of mail, so that it does not tear. And upon its hem you shall make pomegranates of tie-dye all around its hem, and bells between them all, because I don't want anybody sneaking up on me in the dark. It'll be a golden bell, a pomegranate, all the way, okay? Upon the hem of the robe, all around. And it shall be upon Aaron when he ministers, and its sound will be heard when it goes to the holy place before the Lord, because God might be busy on his cell phone and he don't want to be bothered by anybody, so he wants to hear you coming. Yeah, it says it right here. To go into the holy place before the Lord, and when he comes out, that he may not die for sneaking up on God. You shall also make a plate of pure gold and engrave on it, holiness to the Lord. And you shall put it on a blue cord that is on the turban. It shall be on the front of the turban. So it shall be on Aaron's forehead, that Aaron may bear the iniquity of the holy things which these terrible ass people hallow, and all their holy gifts, and it shall always be on his forehead, that he may be accepted before the Lord. See, God's finding all this stuff on Pinterest, and he's like making it special. He's like, oh yeah, this outfit is great, but I'm gonna
It's like
God it up.
he's making Aaron the dunce for all the people. It's like, see this dumbass? He represents all of you people.
Oh yeah, no, it comes up. It comes up because Aaron and Moses dying to me is kind of like fucked up. It's like, why did they die? But here I'm reading this, it's like because Aaron was the original Jesus. Because I've noticed throughout all this book, somebody has to die for them. And not to, but I'm not wondering if that's Trump for this generation. It's a thing to think about because God's always having somebody sacrifice themselves all throughout this book. But we haven't got that far yet, so don't worry. Okay. Hello, and all their holy gifts, you may be accepted. You shall skillfully weave the tunic of fine linen. You shall make the turban of fine linen, and make the sash, like he's a prom queen, of woven work. Here we go. Here we go. I need a cigarette. You know what's coming up, don't you? God, what God does. I'm just going to read it, but man, who wears short shorts? Listen, we got to do it. Okay? We're going to do it right now. For Aaron's sons, you shall make tunics. You shall make sashes for them, and make hats for them, for glory and for beauty. You shall put them on Aaron your brother, and on his sons with them. You shall anoint them, consecrate them, sanctify them, that they may minister to me as priests in their pajamas. Oh, here we go. Those are just their underwear. Wait a minute. So they may. And you will make for them linen trousers to cover their nakedness, They shall reach from the waist to the thighs. Ooh, wear short shorts. They shall be on Aaron and his sons when they come into the tabernacle of meeting, or when they come near the altar to minister in the holy place, that they do not incur iniquity and die. It shall be a statute forever to him and his descendants after him. So God's like, wear your pajamas and come and hang out, man. And that's what that seems like. Like t-shirt and shorts.
Well, actually, back then, I did some research on the clothing and that they wore back then. It was more like a skirt than shorts. It just kind of wrapped around their waist. It really didn't, kind of like what the Scottish wear. What do they call it? A kilt. It was kind of like a kilt.
Right. And then he's like, no, you need to make them pants.
That's actually what they called pants. They were like just a skirt or a kilt, but they called them pants.
Yeah, but right here he's saying you need to have pants on. You need to have shorts on.
Yeah.
So they had short shorts and a t-shirt thing. Or they just use their top tunic as a t-shirt and then just wear pants over that. Oh, well, short shorts over that. I could see that. Or, like, originally when I read this, I thought boxers. God invented boxers in ancient times. So they had to wear boxers to go see God. So boxers and a t-shirt. God wanted a party, slumber party. I don't know. But what do you think? Like, do you think it's like lounge wear, or do you think it was something like way more serious? Something that wasn't boxers and a t-shirt?
I think back then, the way God had them, I'm sure all the other people just threw on whatever they wanted to wear. So God made, Aaron and his sons stick out like a sore thumb.
That sounds about right. Okay. So let's smoke a cigarette because we're going on to chapter 29.
And not only that, if you didn't see him, you could hear him coming with the bells ringing.
Yeah, yeah. They had to wear bells and shit. But they had a hat. So I think God was making loungewear. He's like, wear your hat and your boxers and your little t-shirt tunic thing and come and hang out.
Yeah. What's funny is all my cats, when they were little babies, I made them wear a collar with a bell just so I knew where they were at.
Yeah, that's actually a smart idea.
Yeah.
But
Them little kittens, they get into everything. They get into all the shit. So you got to kind of listen to that bell just to know where they're at.
yep, that's how it is with Sam right now because he's not supposed to be getting into things. But it's hard to keep him out of things. My house is as baby proofed as it's going to get.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I got to put locks on all the cabinets and I try to lock the drawers. My little tuxedo cat, she opens everything. She opens the closet doors and the drawers and the cabinet. She gets into everything.
My mountain cat wants to live in the cabinet. She caught a mouse in there one time, and now she never wants to leave it, the cabinet. She's like, I caught a mouse there once. I'll catch another one day. It's like, no, we moved all the box food out of there and put all the canned food. Those rats ain't coming up there.
Yeah. Like fast food delivery? Heck yeah, I'm moving in here.
Yeah, food fast ain't no better place than right here. So, just by like hearing about this outfit, and it seems like he only has to wear it when he's ministering to God. And I do not actually know how many times they have to minister to God, or if he just has to live in there with that outfit on. But that outfit is, I'm not allowed to call it tacky, but it's gaudy. It's just big and colorful and why?
Yeah. And you know what? He probably couldn't, none of them, they probably couldn't put those outfits on by themselves. They probably had to have help.
Yeah.
Somebody else had to help them get dressed.
I can tell you from experience that shit is annoying. Like having other people help you get dressed. Uh, no way. I couldn't do it. Okay. That's better. All right. Now, you ready for chapter 29?
Yeah, if you want to do it, it's going to be a lot more of the same, but then it adds the animals into it too. So
Oh my god. Why are we reading this? Ah, okay. Oh god. Okay. I gotta do this in God voice, or
Ay, why do I talk so much? Me, God, right now in God voice. I'm like trying to read my unofficial biography here, and I am having a hard time. I can't believe I said all of this. And come to think of it, I don't think I did say all of this. I'm pretty sure, I'm pretty sure, right? There's some of this in here that I clearly didn't say. And if you know me, and if you love me, you will know clearly I did not say that. I don't even talk in that way. And everybody knows that they just ignore it. Okay, here we go. Talkity talk, talk, fucking talk. Bah. This is what you shall do to them to hallow them for ministering to me, God, right now in God voice. They're going to be ministering to me as priestesses. Take one bull, two rams, but they got to be perfect ones because that matters later on in the story. Because it turns out I keep the weird ones because I love them. Anyway, well, okay. That part doesn't come out in the story. That is Nikki's theory and me, God, right now, in God voice. I'm going with that theory because it makes sense. Anyway, kill the perfect ones. Okay. And some unfluffy bread and unfluffy cakes mixed with oil. Unfluffy wafers, although I've never seen a fluffy wafer. You know, they're usually not fluffy. But okay, we're going to pretend at one time they were fluffy. So don't make fluffy shit, okay? Oh, and you're going to make this of wheat flour because gluten, glucose. What is that? Midbar!
Yeah, gluten.
It's gluten's in regular bread. Okay. Well, unfluffy wheat flour. And you will put them in the basket and bring them in the basket with the bull and the 2 rams. And Aaron and his sons you shall bring to the door of the meeting house, and you shall wash them in the water. Then you will take the garments, put the tunic on Aaron, and the robe, the ephod, the breastplate, and gird him with the intricately woven band of the ephod. You will put the ephod is like a hoodie. You put the hat over top of the hoodie. Yeah. It's like a hoodie.
Yeah, but I noticed right there somebody else is dressing him.
Yeah.
Somebody else is putting these garments on him, so he's not dressing himself.
Because it's so fucking heavy. I don't know why me, God, right now in God voice, did this to Aaron. Because he hasn't even called me fat yet. And then it gets kind of indirect. Okay. So, and you will bring, then you shall take the garment, put the tunic on Aaron, the robe of the ephod, and the breastplate, and gird him with the intricately woven band of the ephod. Okay, that's going to be like the tie of the robe. Oh, it's like a robe with a hood. Yeah, or like a cape with a hood. Because it doesn't say it has armholes. So it's like literally hanging
Well, the shoulder bits and the breastplate plate thing, and it makes me think of those people that stand on the corner wearing the signs to advertise for a store.
there. Yeah. Okay.
It's like I'm wearing this big gas sign, come into God's store.
Well, it's better to be into God than be into something else. At least I think that. Okay. You're going to put the turban on his head and put the holy crown on the turban. When did they make that? What the fuck? He's not a king. Okay. Well, okay, he has a crown on his turban. And take the anointing oil, pour it on his head, and anoint him. Okay, so now everything is covered in oil. That's a good time. And oil. Then you shall bring his sons, put the tunics on them, and gird them with the sashes. Yay, they're prom queen and king. And Aaron and his sons, and you shall gird them with the sashes. Aaron and his sons, and put the hats on them. The priesthood shall be theirs for a perpetual statute. So you shall consecrate Aaron and his sons. You shall also have the bull brought before the meeting house, and Aaron and his sons shall put their hands on its head. Then kill it before the Lord by the door of the tabernacle of the meeting house. Yeah, just kill it in the meeting house. You shall take some of the blood and put it on the horns of the altar with your finger, and pour all the blood beside the base of the altar. And then you shall make all the fat that covers all their insides and kidneys, and burn them on the altar, and make it the best of gravy. But the flesh of the bull and its skin, its offal, you shall burn it with fire outside the camp as a sin offering. Oh, so you don't make it the best of gravy. Man, this is so long for no reason. Then you're going to take a ram, and put your hands on the ram, and kill the ram, and take its blood, and sprinkle it around on the altar. Then you cut the ram in pieces, wash all of it, and put them with its pieces, with its head, and burn the whole ram on the altar. It is a burnt offering to the Lord. It is a sweet aroma, an offering made by fire to the Lord. Oh, man, what am I doing? Why do I talk so much? Oh my God. This is, okay. Take the other ram. Aaron and his son shall put their hands on its head. Then you kill it. Take some of its blood and put it on Aaron on his ear, and on the right ear of his son, on the thumb of their hands and the big toe of their right foot. This is fucking weird. Where did I see this stuff at? Because I would have. Why did I say this? Okay. The sons on the thumb and okay. And sprinkle the blood all around on the altar. You shall take some of the blood that's on the altar and some of the anointing oil and sprinkle it all over Aaron's new clothes and on his son, on the garments of his son. I already, okay. And he and his garment shall be hallowed, and his son's garments with them. Also, take the fat of the ram and the fat tail, and the fat that covers all the stuff, and the right thigh, because it's the ram of consecration. I don't know what that means. And one loaf of bread, one cake made with oil, and one wafer from the basket of the unfluffy bread that is beside the okay. Then take one loaf of bread, one cake made with oil, and one wafer from the basket of the unfluffy bread that is before the Lord. And you will put these in the hands of Aaron and his sons, and you shall wave them as a wave offering. Take that shit, bitch. You ain't eating this. It's going in the fire. And you shall receive back from their hands and burn them on the altar as a burnt offering, as a sweet aroma before the Lord. It is an offering made by fire to the Lord. No. Okay, maybe. Maybe I'll keep reading because some of this is funny. But, man, why do we have to deal with Aaron and his sons indirect punishment for something they're going to do in the future? I don't
Yeah.
know.
Sounds like a messy barbecue to me. And they get it all over their new clothes.
Yeah, all over their new clothes because God logic. And you know, there ain't no getting blood and oil out of clothes, not even with cold water or hot water for the oil. Yeah, there's no getting off it. There's no getting that off those clothes.
Yeah, I know. I was thinking, how do they clean that? And they got to wear that. They probably got to put that stuff on every week or something.
Every fucking day. Because they might live at the meeting house. Okay. I need a cigarette. Oh, this is so long for no reason. Okay. And you will take one of the breasts of the ram of Aaron's consecration and wave it as a wave offering before the Lord. It shall be your portion that you get to burn right now. Huh. And from the ram of consecration, you shall consecrate the breast of the wave offering. Oh my God. Oh my God. Okay. So they get to eat the wave offerings. They're like, oh, this looks good. Wave it. I'm going to eat that. Got it. Wave offering, which is raised. That which is for Aaron and for his sons. It shall be from these terrible ass people for Aaron and his sons by statute forever. What is happening? Okay. Was that loud? Never take it for granted. Let it go. Okay. So, no. Okay. I'm just skipping all of that because what the fuck? So we're at verse 29, and it says, the holy garments of Aaron shall be his sons after him. Oh my God. Do they wash this? Oh, okay. The holy garments of Aaron shall be his sons after him, to be anointed in them, and to be consecrated in them. That son who becomes priest in his place. And the son who becomes priest in his place shall put them on for 7 days when he enters the meeting house to minister in the holy place. So you got to sit in your dad's ball sweat for
Yeah,
7
imagine,
days.
imagine, the grandkids having to put those old stinky things on.
I was just saying that. You got to wear your dad's ball sweat.
You gotta wear it for 7 days. Here's this stinky old clothes. You gotta wear it for 7 days.
Yeah. Oh my God. But we're going to find out something. Okay. After him to be anointed and consecrated in them. Put it on for 7 days. Then you shall take the ram of consecration, oil its flesh in the holy place. Then Aaron and his sons shall eat the flesh of the ram and the unfluffy bread in the basket by the door of the meeting house. Could you imagine my dad, when we would have bologna sandwiches or hot dogs on white bread, he would always make us go outside on the back porch and eat because he didn't want breadcrumbs everywhere. So maybe God is doing this because he don't want breadcrumbs everywhere. Okay.
Well, I'm sure you've been around a barbecue. Burning all these animal parts on on a big fire. That oil and grease and fat's gonna be splattering on everything.
And they're doing it in a place that is an absolute fire hazard. Man. Okay. Okay. They shall eat these things with which atonement was made to consecrate and sanctify. But an outsider shall not eat them because they are holy. And if any of the flesh of consecration offering or the bread remains until the morning, then you will burn the remainder with fire. It shall not be eaten because it is holy. Thus you shall do to Aaron and his sons, according to all that I have commanded you. 7 days consecrate them, and you will offer a bull every day as a sin offering for atonement. You shall cleanse the altar when you make atonement for it, and anoint it to sanctify it. 7 days you make atonement for the altar and sanctify it. And the altar shall be most holy. Whatever touches the altar must be holy. Holy crap. What does all that even mean? It means you gotta wear your dad's ball sweat and constantly be around fire in this hot ass outfit.
And they got to kill a bull every day.
And you gotta dump oil on your head. And oh my god, this is terrible.
I feel bad. We got all the ranchers out here have free range cattle, and the tourists kill, a couple out there on the roads every day. They run into them, they crash into the cows and kill them. I feel bad for those ranchers, but man, these people had to kill a cow every day.
Yeah, well, they weren't exactly cows. Did you know cows are a conspiracy theory? Nobody knows where black and white cows came from. Literally, me and my dad had a big argument about that, but nobody knows where the black and white cow came from.
Well, it's specialized breeding. I used to raise koi in a pond, and they're the same way. A natural koi is just brown or gray, but the Orientals, they messed with them all. They specialized breeded them and messed with them until they got really pretty colors out of them. But if you leave all those pretty colored koi in the pond long enough, all their babies go back to gray and brown.
Really?
Yeah, if you're not meddling with their reproduction, then they just go back to natural. So I'm sure that's what they did with the cows. The people messed with their breeding until they got the colors they wanted.
I don't know. But the internet doesn't know where they came from. All right, let's keep going. 7 days. Why? Why do I, God, and God voice right now, talk so much? Okay. Now this is what you shall offer on the altar. 2 lambs of the first year, day by day, continually. 1 lamb you shall offer in the morning, and the other at twilight. With 1 lamb, you're gonna do flour and oil and all that kind of crap. Okay. And that's what he's doing. Right? That's all he's doing here. Oh, no, there's more crap. Okay. So there's gonna be a bunch of shit with it, and there'll be a sweet aroma made by fire to the Lord. And this shall be a continual offering throughout your generations at the door of the meeting house, where I will meet and speak with you there. I will meet these terrible ass people, and the tabernacle shall be sanctified by my glory. I'm on verse 44 because I skipped all that other shit. I can't do it. I will also consecrate both Aaron and his sons to minister to me as priests. I already said that. I will dwell among these terrible people and will be their God. These terrible people and they shall know the fuck I is, yo. And who brought them out of the land of Egypt, that I may dwell among them. I am the Lord, their God. Worship me. That's all God wants is a fucking friend. Okay.
Well, I was just thinking, these people had to go through all of that just so they could speak to God. See, aren't you glad we got Jesus? You know, we believe in God and we believe in Jesus. We get the Holy Spirit and we can talk to Him wherever we're at. We don't have to do all that stuff.
Yeah.
But man, he was sure was being hard on those Israelites.
Yeah. But think about how these people are and why God had to be that way.
Yeah, it's a whole lot that God put them through just to realize that they couldn't do it by themselves. Like on their own strength, it wasn't. They weren't gonna. It just wasn't gonna work.
You know that was you know how sorry. That that bowl is so dirty. That bowl is so dirty. Did you hear me dying right there?
Yeah, you gotta clean that resin. You gotta get that resin out sometimes, or it'll choke you.
Oh yeah, that's exactly what I'm going through right now. That's why I'm about to roll this joint. Roll a joint with me real quick. And then we'll go into chapter 30. Yeah, don't breathe like that. We've only been here.
Oh, no, that was me trying to sit up so I could roll something.
Oh,
My tailbone hurts.
I didn't realize I've been in God voice that whole time. That's another thing. If I get stuck in God voice and forget to change it, you tell me.
Yeah. Hey,
You're
God,
gonna have to
take a chill pill. You've been talking too much.
talk too much. But yeah, you're gonna have to come out of your comfort zone a little bit dealing with me because I me and God have ADHD. Actually, I have mania. God has ADHD because I have mania. Which mania I think is a step over bipolar, but I take a lot of medications for that. And everybody says that me making my videos is making me better. Like reading and stuff. It'll help me from getting Alzheimer's.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, everybody needs a purpose-filled life. You know, you can't just sit around doing nothing. Become a vegetable. And
And
my grandma, I remember seeing her. She'd sit there every day. She'd have two or three different kind of crossword puzzles and puzzle books and stuff that she do. She kept her mind sharp.
yeah, I do cryptograms. I don't know if you know what that is, but it's kind of like code cracking. I do cryptograms, and I'm really good at them. And can you give me 1 minute because I think one of my cats is crying.
Yeah, no problem. Go for it.
And you go ahead and talk and introduce yourself and stuff.
But you got to keep that mind working. It's like I'm sure a lot of moms used to say, if you don't use it, you're gonna lose it.
Well, come on. Go. Dead air is bad air.
Yeah. No, I was just saying, like my mom used to say. I'm sure a lot of moms said it. If you don't use it, you'll lose it.
Yep,
That includes the brain too.
yep. And you know, I didn't. I know Jesus, but I also know God's personality. And God's like, don't worship anything over me. And then Jesus is like, worship me over God. And it's like, there, mm, mm-mm. I didn't believe in Jesus
Yeah. Well,
at
that's
all.
that's the tricky part. Trying to, yeah, that whole Jesus and God are they're one being. That's the hardest part to get over.
Well, Jesus isn't God's only son.
No, but he's
And
the he's a he's a
uh,
very he's a very important son. It's basically God letting us know that he has a relationship with us. He came and he lived and he walked and he died as one of us to let us know that hey, he understands everything we're going through because he created it.
and he went through it.
Yeah,
Right.
he went through it as one of us. So that's all these times you read. Well, he's got a mouth and he's got an ear and he's got a hand. Well, yeah, of course he made it. He made his own so that he can keep forever.
Well, after I read the Old Testament, then I started believing in Jesus. But I do not go along with that Jesus is God's only son because no, he's not. And
No,
God pointed that out to me.
he's got lots of children, but Jesus is his beloved child. That's why like Jesus said, that, hey, I've got to go back to heaven because if I don't, then the Holy Spirit will be stuck to me and won't go anywhere else.
Right. I don't like, can I ask you a question? And yeah, I'm kind of fishing, but no, I'm not because I really want to know.
I used to argue with people before God straightened me out. I used to argue with people. I was like, no, Jesus is the Son of God. Jesus isn't God. But then, Jesus, God Himself came up, stood right behind me, and straightened me out. Like, you want the answer? Here you go. Because I asked Him for it. One night I was like, hey, God, does Jesus have His own spirit? And the next day, I didn't get a yes or no. He just stood right behind me and basically told me, if you love me, you go out there and take care of my sheep.
Your whole life is pointing you to my channel. I've been told you that. But speaking of my channel, like, I guess, like, me as a person on the internet, as a content creator, even though I'm not a content creator, I'm a Bible reader, but, like, I know my presentation is sloppy, but that's purposeful
Yeah.
because I don't want
Well,
to be pretend.
I'm
I'm
on the same path, because I've kind of dabbled with the Bible my whole life, but to actually try to be a presenter, a teacher to other people, that's a whole new ball game to me. But that's what God wants me to do. He's like, take what you've learned and go out there and tell people about it. And it's like, wow, it's a whole new thing to learn. You know, it's like God makes you go against the grain. He makes you do what you don't want to do.
You know, it never crossed my mind to not do this. It never even crossed my mind to not do this. The problem is my presentation because I'm messy as fuck and I don't give a shit and I laugh at God all the time, you know, and I'm always making God his own person. And
Well,
people get kind of turned off by that because it's like God's not a person.
yeah,
God is definitely a person and he
yeah,
needs a process.
yeah, God is definitely his own person.
Yeah, and he needs a Prozac. And then, you know, you got somebody like me that is actually giving God a personality, even though I'm not Christian and I never will be. So don't try to make me Christian because I tried. I tried all kinds of churches, but God made me make my own church, and I never thought about quitting or no, I never thought about not doing it. I have thought about quitting. I have, and you know what? There was a time a couple months ago that I didn't have enough money to pay for my channel, right? Well, okay, I you don't have to pay for the channel, but you got to pay for restream, and I didn't have the money. Did you know the next day a Facebook lawsuit sent me $25 after I couldn't pay for my channel? And then I couldn't buy animal food. And my longest subscriber, Fred, sent me, cash apped me $100 to buy animal food and some ice cream
Yeah,
and cigarette stuff.
yeah, isn't that amazing how that happens?
Look, and I told Dustin, man, we need to get a deep freezer. Did you know the next day Dustin's grandma showed up with a deep freezer for free? And then I wanted to get grow, like a grow machine so I could grow some weed. It took a couple months, but I got one for free. It's in the storage because we got it right before we were told we had to move.
Yeah,
Yep.
I've been on my own for almost 2 years now, and my brother doesn't pay for my cat food. He doesn't pay for my food. You know, he pays the electric bill, the water bill, and he pays for my Starlink. But everything else, I'm on my own. But my cats have never gone hungry. They still got a big old bag of food, you know.
Yeah.
So every month I figure out, God presents a way to where I can get another bag of cat food. So I'll go hungry before I let my cats go hungry.
Yeah, because heaven forbid your cats eat you because they're hungry. Actually, did you know that's not true? Your cats don't eat you until after they try to lick you away. The thing is they lick you so much that your skin starts to fall apart.
Yeah.
And then they eat you. But it doesn't start out that way.
I don't have to be dead yet. They'll come up and lick me anyway. So
Oh, yeah, the cats have a problem with that.
there are a
They
couple of
do.
headbutts too. My tuxedo cat just about gave me a fat lip the other day.
Huh. Your cats give you headbutts and hugs too. Did you see my cat yesterday?
Yeah.
Like, he wanted so much love. And he does that to me in my sleep.
Yeah.
I
Yeah. Both.
carry him into bed with me, and he just always wants to rub in my face.
Yeah, both my cats do that. They have their moments every day. It's like, hey, I want some Papa loving, so they'll come right up and get in my face.
Yeah, yeah. Cats are they are space invaders for
Yeah.
sure.
Well, they like their independence, but they like to feel like they're loved too. They don't like to be ignored, even though they'll
Yeah,
ignore you all day if they feel like it.
man.
But I like that about cats. A dog's a lot of work because they need constant attention. If you leave them alone, they become dickwads.
Yeah, they really do. Man, I can't wait until we get into the story. This preamble shit, I don't like it. Like, you have to read all of this stuff before you can even read the story. So you know what's going on.
It's just mind-boggling. Just the stuff that these chapters, all the stuff that they had to go through just to have a conversation with God.
Yeah, but really, they didn't even need to. If you go back in Exodus, God originally wanted to talk to them, but he was talking in trumpet. Even though or, or God really was talking with a voice, but there was so much going on that they couldn't even hear him. And they're like, no, you got to talk to him. They couldn't ignore the other stuff in their head to hear God.
Yeah,
And I think that's the lesson in that. Or God was talking in trumpet, and they were like, no, that's way too happy for us. We don't want to talk to you because you're so fucking happy.
it was. He does it again in Revelation too. God's going to make a whole lot of noise, and some people are going to understand it, and a lot of people are going to just hear it as lightning and earthquakes and thunder, and they're not going to understand. They're just going to think it's all natural noise. But the people that God's got wide awake, they're going to hear His voice.
Oh, believe me, I did. And here I am, how many years later? Like, way, way, way. Like, I think I've been doing this like 7 to 10 years. I keep saying 10 years, but I don't know my fucking dates, man. I know I was injured and I moved here in 2019. I celebrated 2020 with Dustin, and then I got all my teeth removed, and then I think in 2021 I started making videos. No, in 2020 I started making videos because I was trying to do politics. But then I was banned from politics here at the house. I can't watch anything. I can't watch the news. I can't watch anything. I don't know anything that's
Yeah,
happening.
I don't even try to keep up with that stuff anymore. It's just a circus. It's all just a freaking circus. All these people doing this dumb shit. It's
Yeah,
all a fight for control.
yeah. I just know if the news said it, it didn't happen.
Yeah. Well, they only talk about what they want to talk about. I mean, that's what I realized just before I moved out of Las Vegas. I remember every day I turned on the TV every day when I lived, and there were so many people getting murdered and dying and car accidents, and and that happens everywhere. That's not just one city. That's every city, and everywhere people are dying every day. Stupid shit. The news isn't going to tell you that.
No.
They pick out just certain stories for a narrative. It's programming. They only want people to know what they tell them, and that's it. They want you to rely on them. That's it's like you need to eat breakfast. You need to eat breakfast and dinner, but you also got to feed on that news that they give you too. They want people just stuck on them.
Yeah. But one second.
But that's true with any entertainment. You have to capture an audience. To have an audience, you have to capture them, right?
Yes, and that's the problem we're having, ain't it?
Yeah, well, we got to be better fishermen or have a good butterfly net or something.
Well, we gotta get better better report. You need to step out of your comfort zone a tiny bit and play with me more. But it'll be okay. It'll be okay. We'll fall in internet love and then just be on top of each other. Like,
Yeah, yeah. Well, we're new friends. We've talked more in the last couple of days than we have in months. So
well, mostly that's your fault because you don't chat my chat. And you always know, like, like you did with me and my mom. You just knew shit. So you're like me. You sit in your cave and you know shit.
yeah. Well, I've studied a lot, but like your mom, she knows things that I have no clue about, and I'm sure I know things that she doesn't know about. But that's the way with I've learned that with everybody. Everybody's got information that they're aware of that nobody else has a clue about.
That's true. That is true.
We all walk a different path. We might have the same creator, the same God, but we're all walking different paths down here. Been through different shit.
You know what I want to do? I want to get a cryptogram game. And I want to start live streaming, like playing cryptograms. Because then nobody plays cryptograms. And it's like, yeah, but those are so amazing, though.
Yeah, you ought
And
to try it.
playing cryptograms, you know.
Yeah, you ought to try it. A lot of people do their hobbies online, and they get a lot of people watching and talking with them and chatting.
Yeah, but see, I feel like that's kind of cheating. Like I did with my raccoon videos. I got a lot of subscribers because I cheated posting my raccoons. I did. And then,
That's what one of my friends did. He just bought his first house, and he's got a yard and trees, and then he found he's got animals and birds. So he put up a birdie cam. He figured, hey, maybe people will watch the birdie cam.
isn't that weird? Yeah. They'll watch 3 minutes of a raccoon eating before they'll watch like an hour of my video. It's crazy. But we gotta do something different.
Yeah, but you got to remember, a lot of people, the people that are stuck living in cities, they can only dream about having property with animals to play with or watch. They got some shitty little apartment somewhere.
Yeah, but also remember how much work living in a place like that is, dude. It's
Yeah.
not just, oh, you get to relax. Fuck no.
No,
You
no,
gotta guard yourself from bears. You gotta guard yourself from giant ass, what are they, elk?
well, it's not just that. And when you got your own property, especially, I'm way out in the wilderness. So, but when you got your own property, it's constantly, you can't just ignore it. There's always something that needs to be done.
Yeah, and
If
people
you want
don't
to
realize.
relax, if you want to relax, you got to go out there and work your butt off first.
Yeah, and that means, like, when you get done with your 9 to 5, then you gotta do 5 to 9 on your house.
Yeah.
And then by that time, you're exhausted. And then imagine having to cut all that grass. Oh my God, forget about it.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I let the wild grass. I had a nice grass lawn in my front yard this year. I just let the wild grass take it over, and I kept watering it. But then it got so tall, I had to go out and cut it.
Yeah,
People, my neighbor's looking at me funny, and it's like this has to go out and mow his lawn. What a weirdo.
yeah. I don't know. I think living, my mom said, I want to get some money and get a farm. I said, okay. You would have to remember who you're taking with you.
A farm's a
Your
lot of work.
children. Say you take your children who have all been to prison and have no skill to speak of, right? And then you got to take their girlfriends who also have no skills to speak of. And then you're going to expect these people, all criminals, to take care of some farm animals.
Yeah, that's a lot of work. I know some farmers, and they got to get up at crack of dawn, and they're out working in the farm, because if they don't, that's worse than just owning a house.
Yes. And I told her that don't buy land and try to make a farm. Don't fight. That is the stupidest shit you could ever do.
Yeah, it becomes a very serious permanent job right away.
Yes. And then you got to think about the kind of, like, if you get a peacock or something, that thing goes into the street, it flies all over the place, it doesn't know where it lives.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
and then
Our
you,
landlord up in Washington, he raised peacocks, and they were always getting out of the cages and getting into trouble.
you know, and then you got to think if you get a cow, how do you fucking milk a cow? Ain't nobody gonna show you how to milk a. Nobody knows how to milk a cow.
And my little brother he started raising goats and making his own goat milk and goat cheese.
Dude, goat cheese is like disgusting.
Yeah,
I
definitely.
don't know.
It takes some getting used to. It's not like cow milk.
No, no. Mm-mm. I don't know. But I do know we've been on here for an hour and 35 minutes. I have to take my medicine.
Yeah. Well,
And
you got
dude,
through what you got through 2 chapters tonight, so
yeah, I did. But I gotta do these dishes. I gotta make Dustin a lunch. What do you have to do?
no, I did my dishes today. I was supposed to fix my swamp cooler and work on my car today, but when I woke up with my neck all messed up, I couldn't do hardly anything. But at least I got my dishes done.
I gotta also do those. think I'm gonna put Naruto on my phone and go in there and do the dishes, because I only got like a month of Disney left. And the last month that I had Disney, I just watched the Ninja War on Naruto. Like, I skipped every episode ever. So now I'm trying to watch all the episodes I skipped uh, this month.
Yeah, I heard you and your mom started talking about. I was listening to the two of you guys talk the other day, and yeah, you guys went off on that Naruto stuff, and I was like, what the heck are they talking about?
Yeah, it's a stupid little anime that's old. It's not on anymore. It's an older anime from like 2016.
Uh,
And I
me
think
and
it
my
finally ended in 20, 2017. Or, yeah.
me and my friends were just talking about the old anime we watched back in the 1970s.
Heavy metal.
No, heavy metal was actually 1980s. Actually, my dad collected all of the magazines. You know, me and my brother, when we were just little kids, my dad had they were basically adult comic books. But me and my brother would sit there and look at them and read them.
I kind of like comic books. I have a Jesus comic book. It's the whole Bible in comic form. And I was going to read it, but then I don't know who talks first. It's hard to read comic book because I don't know how to read comic book, but it's a whole Jesus comic book. Uh,
Yeah. Yeah. Have you ever heard of the movie called Spawn?
what's it called?
It's called Spawn.
Spawn? Yeah.
Yeah. It was a preacher, a reverend from a church that created that comic book that became that movie.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. He created the comic book so he could reach the kids that like that kind of stuff. They like those really weird, gory stories, but that's how he got to the children.
Huh.
Children, they just like that kind of stuff. They like the neat looking costumes and the really dark stories. But the preacher was smart. He was like, "Hey, I can reach children with this stuff."
Huh. So wait a minute. Who was it?
All right.
Who was it? You said it was. I didn't. I don't remember who you said it was.
Oh, I don't know. I can't remember what the preacher man's name was that came out with the comic Spawn.
Oh, okay. You said it was a preacher who came up with that. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, it was a church
Okay.
reverend. Yeah, he was trying to reach the children, and he noticed the children were all into the violence and you know the the superhero comic books. So he was like, "Hey, I can create a superhero book," but it had a lot of very religious tones in it.
That's pretty good.
You got the good guys like the preachers, and you got the devils and the demons, and
That's actually kind of awesome.
but that's kind of how the teenagers are. They don't want to be into the fluffy, girly stuff. They want the neat stuff.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of why, like, I appreciate. I love ICP. I love them so much, and They talk about God in almost every single song, even though they don't talk about God. They don't use that name. They call him the ringmaster.
Yeah, yeah. No, I used to listen to ICP.
Oh, I fucking love them.
I
I
love when
have
they do the song that sounds like a game show.
oh, what is it? The dating game one or the
Yeah,
next game?
yeah, the dating game song. That one, that I used to love that. That's so freaking hilarious.
I go through the phone book and rag them all.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Your mom making some
I'll be
spaghetti.
going.
I'm gonna eat up some of your mom's spaghetti.
Yeah, your sister's got some big tits. Then your dad will probably trip again, and this time I'll take my 40 to his chin. Yeah. Oh,
Oh yeah, they diss each other so hard on there.
it's so funny. I love ITV. I have a whole playlist that I listen to before I go live anytime. It was like my Bible videos. There's a whole playlist of ICP songs I listen to before I stream. Well, I think there's two non-ICP songs, and I think they're both typo negative, which I love more than life itself.
Yeah, I
I
forget my wife and her daughter. They like to listen to the modern rap, and I think there was a band called like Tech Nine or something. They played
Oh
that
yeah,
music.
Tech Nine. He's
They
a
played
juggalo.
they blasted that music at our wedding in the park, and there was a lot of old people in the family around, and I was just like, oh my god.
Yeah, Tech Nine's a juggalo. Well, he was a juggalo. He might. Well, he's famous. He probably does his own thing now. But
Yeah,
he did hang out with the juggalos.
yeah. I just thought it was. I thought it was bad taste that my wife and her friends decided to blast that music really loud at our wedding. I was like, yeah, man, you guys are crazy.
Yeah. But a wedding is supposed to be fun, especially for the bride.
Oh yeah, it blew me away. I wasn't expecting that many friends and family and neighbors to show up. I think we only got like 50 chairs. We rented 50 chairs. We were supposed to rent some tents because it was going to be a blistering hot day, but we couldn't afford to get the tents, so we didn't. But then that day the wind blew so freaking hard. If we would have rented the tents, they would have got destroyed. So, but we rented 50 chairs, and then like 75 people showed up, and then they had friends that they brought too. So
Oh, wow.
we had so many people that show up at our wedding. Yeah, yeah, it was crazy.
Man, that's when you know you're loved, man.
Yeah,
That's how you know you're loved. Was
yeah.
it all your people?
No, it was both sides of the family and friends and even neighbors. I worked at I managed a 60 unit apartment complex, and invited a couple of the people that lived in the complex. I was like, hey, you can come out to our wedding, and a bunch of them showed up. Yeah, I just put out
Well,
the offers. I put out the offers. I didn't think they would actually show it up, but man, yeah, everybody showed up.
awesome. See, it's a good time,
Yeah,
but God has really blessed you, huh? Like,
Oh yeah, that's why sometimes I feel really, really bad because I was blessed before I even came out of the womb, but I
That
still
is true.
I I still made really, really bad choices. It's like, I feel I was extra gifted, but then I turned my back on God anyway, like a dumbass.
When I was doing my bullshit, I did pray a lot. Like, God be with me in this car. Yeah.
Yeah. I have even today. I remember back years ago when, especially when I was out gold prospecting by myself. I used to, yeah, every day I'd have to go to God and was like, I don't understand how I'm going to make it tomorrow or the next week, or I don't know how I'm going to keep going, but I just kept trusting Him. I put my trust in God, and I was like, no matter, there's no sense worrying about it because it's going to work out somehow.
Yep.
You know, but I'd still forget. Every couple of weeks, a couple of months, I'd be, oh, I feel like I'm in trouble. I'm not going to make it. I'll be fighting with that worry again.
Yeah. I've learned not to worry.
Yeah, that's like
Cause
now. Any day now, somebody could offer to buy my house, and then I got to pack up my stuff and go somewhere, and I have no idea where I'm going.
it's kind of where I'm at. Well, I've only got a couple months left. Look, did I tell you what happened? Can I tell you what happened?
Yeah,
Roll a cigarette and I'll tell you what happened. Okay, so here's what happened. A few months ago, we got a notice that said, um, you got to be out by next month. And we have fucking over 10 years of life in this house. It is kind of really hard to pack up the shit we don't need because like we use that all. And so like it was to the point to where I was gonna delete myself on camera by taking all my pills. Right, and I got in a lot of trouble for that. General Piggy yelled at me a lot for that. Right? And I got over it. And like God, we were looking for places to go and we couldn't find them. Right? Not in that short amount of a time. And then we got an email from the landlord that said, we understand moving is hard and it's quite complicated. So here, sign the 6-month lease and find a new place to go. And I looked at Dustin and I said, I told you God's got it. I told you that.
yeah,
Like I wasn't really, I was worried about it was real bad there for a second. Everybody was freaking out. And I'm an empath, so I get all of their feelings plus my own feelings. So it was real bad.
yeah,
But God pulled through, man, didn't he?
yeah,
And all of that was live streamed, by the way, from the beginning of it to the end of it. When God came through the like with that 6-month letter, it's like, oh, I told you God was real, man.
yeah. Yeah, my wife's daughter and her husband and the grandkids, they had to go through that. They were in the same place for like 15, 20 years, but all of a sudden they got the notice, well, you guys got to pack up and get it out of the house because I guess the owners were going to sell the house.
Yep.
And they were all bent out of shape, but they ended up getting a better house. They got a much better house with better neighbors. Everything was just so much better.
Yep.
But it was so. I remember how hard it was on them. But yeah, they had been that place for so long. They'd raised the kids there, and gone to the same school and everything.
Yep. Damn.
Yeah, me and my brother, we didn't know that. Our parents bounced us back and forth so much, the schools couldn't keep up with our records, so they'd make us start all over again.
Damn. Well, I went to ninth grade 3 times.
Yeah, yeah, they made me start ninth grade 4 times, and finally I was like, you know what, heck with it. That's when I took the GED.
No, I just, I said fuck it and just ran away a bunch and landed in juvie. But I am still considered the class of 2004. And what I got for my imaginary graduation was a giant baby.
No, I thought it was pretty cool though. I had to go to a community college to get my GED, and I got my, basically it's a high school diploma equivalent, and I got it. All these people that I went to school with, they were all from different countries. They were coming to be Americans. They were migrants coming to America, and they had to learn everything that I learned to pass the GED, and then they had to, pledge the do the Pledge of Allegiance, and they knew, they basically knew all about, high school like any other high school kid would,
Yep.
and we had to learn all that in like 3 months.
Yeah. Learning the GED is harder than the GED.
Yeah. Well, that's the same thing in high school. You got to go through so much bullshit in high school, and then the final test isn't really that hard, unless you didn't pay it. If you didn't pay attention the whole time you were in high school, it's yeah, that test will probably suck.
Yeah, but I guess I'm mostly talking shit because the teacher that helped me in prison get my GED found me as pretty as I found him. So he did extra work by teaching me specific ways to do things. And I passed my GED because sometimes I am pretty.
Yeah. See, I didn't have that advantage when I was in the Navy. I did my best. I tried to ace every single test, everything they threw at me. I tried to ace it. You know, I wanted to be the best I could be, and since I kept acing all the tests, they made me the education PO, which meant I had to stay after class every day and try to teach all the dumbasses how to graduate. I was like, man, that sucks.
Man,
But yeah, that's what I did the same thing. I was like, maybe if I can teach them how to cheat and get through these test questions, the easy way.
right. I didn't have to do any of that. And, like, I'm really good at writing. I'm a pretty eloquent writer with a GED education straight out of Detroit. I mean, Pennsylvania. But I write pretty good. I have a hard time understanding things sometimes, but
Yeah,
I write real good. So my
yeah,
GED writing thing, I got 100% on that.
yeah. I pretty much had a GED prison education, but you know what? I ended up second in command in some really big jobs, working for really big companies. I was like second in command. So I had a lot of power, a lot of control. But that's because I loved my work.
Yeah.
I loved my work more than I loved myself. So
So what do you do now?
now I don't do anything.
What happened?
Well, my physical condition isn't what it used to be. I used to live on my own strength. I counted on my strength to get things done. But God kind of took my strength away. So now I have to use my head.
Damn.
So that's basically, but the main thing I do every day, I get on the internet and I talk to people all over the world every day. I try to, there's a verse in the Bible that tells us, that we're supposed to encourage others and, you know, be a good example, try to help lead them to God, and God will do the rest. So that's what I try to do that every day. I just try to encourage people and put out the good word, you know.
Could you hear all that coughing?
No,
Because I'm trying not to cough in your ear.
no, you turned the button off. I didn't hear
Okay, good. Because this weed is real strong and this cigarette is real dry.
it. Yeah, I usually use push to talk, but I'm not using that tonight.
No, you don't have to. I can't even hear you.
I'm surprised my cats haven't come up and jumped in my lap yet.
But they know you're doing Bible time. So, speaking of Bible time, real quick, before you let me go, uh, the next part is about the altar, right? You gotta make an altar, okay? But
Yeah,
then
yeah.
it
I don't know if you've ever seen pictures of the altar, but it's kind of creepy looking altar. It's like this square thing with four horns sticking out the top.
yeah, no, it does look very intimidating, but supposedly it has a purpose, okay? And then it goes into the uh then the Lord spoke to Moses, when you take the census. Oh, they gotta take a census, right? So they take a census, and then they're gonna make a lever and all that kind of shit. Anyway, um in chapter 31 it goes into the making of the church. So do you want to skip 29 and 30?
You kind of went through 29 already. You did 28 and
Okay,
29. So.
I mean 30 and 31. No, 30. Okay, so do you want to skip 30? Because it's all about the altar and then
Yeah,
more.
yeah. It's more all the little details stuff they got to do around the altar, and
Yeah.
but yeah, 31 looks like it starts to get interesting again.
Yeah, it gets into God being super ADHD and super extravagant with this fucking church. Okay.
Yeah, he starts naming people, and it's like this guy and that guy and this guy are supposed to do this, and this guy do that.
Right. Right. But it's because it's super extravagant, man.
Yeah, yeah. It's just like when Moses is listing out all the laws that God gives them. It just goes on and on and on. It's like, how can these people do? You know, it's like God intended. God knew they weren't going to be able to accomplish everything that He gave them to do.
But they fucking did. And maybe we already read about the church. I'm not exactly sure. Uh, okay, no, this is after they already built that giant fire hazard. Okay, so we're about to get into the part where Aaron calls God a cow. And then makes God a cow. And then God starts getting fucked up a little bit about that. And he goes a little bit insane. And things happen. So I think we should just skip 30. But something's telling me I shouldn't skip it. Because then it'll just take away from the story. Right?
Mm,
Like, what do you think?
yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of details that.
It is a lot of details about nothing. I
and
don't,
and and God was serious about that stuff too. It's like if you don't do this or that or this or that, then you might die.
yeah, Aaron's sons learn that the hard way. But right, if we don't read the incense directions here in chapter 30, are we going to really understand why God killed those Aaron's sons because they did it wrong? Yeah,
Yeah,
is that really
right.
going to make sense if we don't read it?
Yeah, you could probably read it. Just kind of go through it with a quick glance. Touch on some important parts of it, maybe.
Okay. Okay, that's what we'll do. That's what we'll do.
But it's so weird. It's all so much details that like you were just touching on. It's God's hard on Aaron, and then Aaron calls God a cow, and then he makes a golden cow, but God doesn't kill him. He kills a whole lot of people, but he doesn't kill Aaron. It's like, what the hell's going on there?
Yeah, but remember, Aaron has to take the sin of these people, but they haven't really sinned yet. God hasn't opened his Tommy gun of fury yet to give these people a plague that is coming up. Where they got to do some crazy shit to get God to stop killing people because the people are stupid. But do you notice when God opens his Tommy gun of fury, he doesn't open it on the leaders, he opens it on the people when literally the leaders are the bad guys?
Yeah,
That's kind of terrible.
but like when Aaron creates that golden calf, all the people had rose up and they were demanding, that he do something because they were like,
Right.
oh, Moses went up on the mountain and he's been gone for 40 days. He must be dead. So
Now, no, but we learn God's still on his Pinterest. But we're not supposed to be foreshadowing in that manner. But you know what? From now on, I'm not going to put this on spiritual. I'm going to put it on Hangout because we're sitting here talking and there ain't nobody here. And it's because I labeled it as spiritual. I don't know. But if you want to talk more, let me end this stream and then we'll talk some more if you want to.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
Yeah,
So,
no sense keeping the video going with nobody watching, and we're just going to be jabbering.
right. So, everyone, it's time to give your pillow some head. The best head. Put your tongue all around it. Anyway, give your sheet some ass. Do it doggy style. It's way better. Or you could do it like you're spooning, like that. Anyway, go ahead and do that and have the sweetest dreams ever. Love you so much. Bye.